Welcome in Akuta Matata. We're talking about The Lion King, and thank you. This is a brand new episode from the Critics Collective. And before I jump into what exactly we're doing today, other than The Lion King, one of the most talked about movies in the Disney franchise, please hit the subscribe button, like, repost, share, make a comment. Tell us in there what's the next feel good movie we should dig in the crates and go ahead and review. Now, for this one, we're going to look at IMDb and see exactly what they said. Sometimes it's a roll of the dice. This one, they say Lion Prince Simba and his father are targeted by his bitter uncle. Was he bitter though? Was he? Who wants to ascend the throne himself? That's good enough right there. Honestly, yeah, it's a tale as old as time. Yes, that's a different movie, but we get what we're talking about here. Now, this movie came out in 1994. They did remake this in 2019. If we get one like, just one like, we'll go ahead and make a video about the 2019 one with Beyonce and Donald Glover and the rest of the cast. Now, for this one, first impressions. I'm an 80s baby. You do the math. I was a kid. I didn't have any first impressions. If anything, it was, hey, maybe we were going to Dave and Buster's. No, there wasn't even Dave and Buster's. It would have been like, um, was it Discovery Zone or Chuck E. Cheese? As long as my parents said we're gonna go get pizza, food, popcorn, junk food, I'm in. So first impressions was we're going to the movies. So I do remember going to the theater with this. It was my first moment of heartbreak, first moment of seeing that something was going wrong in somebody's life and knowing that I can't do anything to change it at all. And so I had to learn that the hard way. Now, the cons of this movie that I would say, um, it would probably honestly be no cons when I originally watched it as a kid, right? And when you look at it honestly on the surface, there's no significant cons. But if I had to nitpick and pick a con, it would probably be um, when I got older and realized that maybe the cast was not as diverse as the story in the setting. Again, this takes place in Africa. There are rhythms and storylines and things that go into it. And I get it. They were the hottest people at the time. Great job in the casting and voicing. But as I got older, I was like, man, it would be really cool to kind of see some more people in there because, it's just my opinion, the idea of opening more stories that would tell more interesting stories down the road for people who look like me, for other people, versus kind of what Disney has been putting out for a very long time. And the example I give you in that is Princess and the Frog. That movie was the last movie that they did that was basically hand drawn animation. Great soundtrack, the music, and I really enjoyed that one. Maybe I'll do a review on that one. But that really kind of was the last time you saw anything like that. Before, years later, you get Soul, and we don't really count the Goof Troop or Goofy movies, but I think it would have been really cool to see more stories that were done in that light. The pros, I would say 100% was the casting. I know it sounds like I'm backhand compliment, but it isn't. The casting that is here is legendary. I mean it. The animation for them to go to zoos and out there in the nature and in nature in general and take this animation and take a different approach and style to it, that was a pro. The DreamWorks Disney beef, look it up. It brought this stuff up. Jaws, another animal, helps these animals for number one supremacy in the box office. What I mean by that, little Easter egg, Jaws, which beat Herbie 2 back in the day, changed the way we did summer blockbuster with big budgets and marketing. And so this was Disney's first attempt to get into that profit and make money like Star Wars and Indiana Jones and so many others did. And it made over $700 million for them for this movie. So the other things that I would say is the music. I mean, when you hear the music and you play it now, whether you've seen the movie, I mean, who hasn't? It resonates with you. It captures you at a moment in time. You can sing along to it. It can play on the radio, and it doesn't feel like it's a just a kids movie. The other thing about it was the arts, Broadway. You have to realize that this movie spawned off The Lion King 2, The Lion King and a half. You had television shows and Broadway. Much like some of the older Disney movies like the Aladdins and I want to say probably Beauty and the Beast. for me as a kid, and I didn't know it until I got older, it was your first glimpse at the arts of Broadway. And with Wicked and Hairspray and Hamilton and In the Heights and so much more, it's like, man, as a kid, if you would know this, if you liked 90s and 80s Disney, you probably didn't know it, but you're probably a theater kid or one right there budding and just didn't know it. So that's the pros and cons I would say. And so with that being said, before I say let's rate this, hey, just subscribe, like, retweet, post, whatever you kids do. Or if you're older, tell somebody at work to check us out. We would greatly appreciate it. Here are the accolades. If you're first time here, it goes from 0 Venom all the way up to number 5. You can check our review on Secret Level, and that was another one that we went ahead and said it deserved a 5. So go ahead and check that out, and we'll get into this. And I mean, what should we rate this? Can we be honest here? Can we really be honest? It's a 5. It's a 5. It's been around so long where I'm not, spoilers or no spoilers, watching what happened to Mufasa, watch what happens to, Simba and Nala. Ew. We're gonna be betrothed. Like, the song and just what this movie represents is just amazing. And it's not just the songs, it's not just the feels. Having my daughter who's 6 watching this and her loving it just the same way as me and my family did is something quite awesome. I actually have this on VHS as well. I don't have a VCR player, but I have it because I remember the little plastic box, that you didn't want to crackle or mess up the sides. I still have those. I don't think they're worth anything, but I still have them. So once again, thank you for joining the Critics Collective on The Lion King, the 1994 version. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And tell somebody today Kuna Matata and see what they say, because they'll know, because that's how awesome this movie was.